Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and our penultimate hurdle, ladies and gentlemen, is ironically comes in the form of the final battle. But I know between you and I, this is just fighting Radagon of the Golden Order and finally the Elden Beast. Now, I might technically be cheating since I know fine well that technically Radagon and the Elden Beast it's not really a two-stage fight. And because they two have because it's two different bosses, but it's down to the fact that really both OSTs are phenomenally distinct and very, very interesting, just because the two concepts for designs are so incredibly different. One was basically the guy who was he the one who betrayed everybody? This comes from parts of not actually playing the game, but seeing only a little bits here and there, because I didn't want to go into this without knowing a little bit of who Radagon was. But if the Elden Ring the Elden Beast OST is different, then I'm certain we'll get to it. But that's really imposing, by the way, the final battle. And, well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Suspended above a great rune of the Elden Ring. Well, Radagon awaits. Perfect. It absolutely has that sort of going toe-to-toe with something maybe even beyond your capabilities, which is always fantastic for a final boss, because it's like, you've come this far, don't give up. But that's only because what lays ahead of you is nothing quite like anything you've ever faced before. Because to this point, you've destroyed enemies, great enemies, legends, and demigods. But this is a little bit harder than those. In many ways. Oh, so is this going to include, Elden Beast as well? I think it might. So this is, just the Elden Beast appears and... Oh, that is beautiful, though. I think it was Malekith who said when you finish him off is that why oppose why approach of destined death to kill what? Maybe this is what Malekith was not anticipating, is that this is apparently what we were out to kill, but also it's why would you want to kill the Elden Beast? Like, what for? Is this just how we get the Elden Ring? Is this just how we become Elden Lord? Is this how this works? Because the first stage, where I imagine it's against Radagon, was striking and awe-inspiring just through its spectacle. This, however, is striking, awe-inspiring, and pseudo-tragic, because really, what exactly is the Elden Beast like? Does he have any reason to be disturbed? And if so, then there's the full knowledge that Elden lords who have came and went also had to kill this thing over and over again. But why? What did it do to anybody? I love how, again, for the final battle, it concludes in probably one of the best sort of ways you can conclude, is that it's not even... It's fantastic about how... one thing I'm absolutely going to call this fight on for its brilliance immediately is that it's fantastically... What's the word? What is the word I'm trying to find in this? It almost summarizes your journey fantastically. You traverse the lands between. You engage in these ferocious and almighty battles. And you come to the end of your journey, because this really is, for many people, journey's end. And just like many other final bosses from the Soulsborne games, and I've talked about many of them before, they treat the idea that, are you supposed to feel good for how this fight went? Are you supposed to feel empowered? Are you meant to be feeling like the good person because you've defeated a really difficult video game? Instead, I think it challenges, like many others, this sort of fight and this spectacle challenges the player for not only how much they've learned, not only for how much they've overcome, but possibly even more than any of these, it challenges the player about if they really have what it takes. Because I would say, I don't know, maybe Radagon's probably like it. I imagine this is probably going to be like a very difficult boss fight. What I probably am not quite anticipating, however, is like in terms of just how, and I've said this before, how difficult can a boss fight really be is not 100% down to an enemy having strong attacks or being quite fast and having abilities that are like difficult to avoid. Sometimes the difficulty in boss fights is down to how difficult you want to make it. You can overcome basically any real challenge and basically any real obstacle in this game. As is life, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually overcome so much because it's about knowing what you have and knowing what you do with what you have and what you've learned. You've probably heard this from me many, many times, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been caught in unfortunate situations and bad predicaments before in my life, but you know what? I come away from them thinking essentially one major thing is that what exactly have I learned through my journey? What have I learned through my experience? What have I done? What have I failed to do? How can I prevent things like this from happening again? How can I try even harder? Is it possible that there are ways around this? There's so much about life to learn, ladies and gentlemen, and sometimes a difficult and bad situation is like a really, really difficult boss fight because it can be only as difficult as sometimes you want to make it, and no matter how big they are or how powerful they are or how imposing they look, there is no obstacle that can ever be overcome, ladies and gentlemen, simply by maybe just giving it a try. You may fail at it the first try, but at least bear in mind what you've learned through this and don't just go into it with like brute force and ignorance. From Software games don't really reward players who play like extremely aggressive. It's not really that kind of series they conjure up for you. And maybe the real Elden Ring, ladies and gentlemen, was the lessons and tribulations we've learned along the way. Maybe they should make that an ending to this game, among probably its many, many others. And with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction to Radagon of the Golden Order and the Elden Beast boss fight OST. And I cannot wait to talk with you guys again in the next video. Take care. And bye-bye for now.